Hey there guys, welcome back to the Diagonal Racecraft YouTube channel. On this episode, we fire up my COYOTE swapped King Cobra for the very first time. Okay, so I know I said in my last video that I was going to make the exhaust video as well as the control pack video before I released this video. But I was thinking to myself, what good does it really do to have an exhaust video when you don't fire the car up and you don't get to hear what it sounds like? So to me, it made the most sense to fire the car up first, then I'll go ahead and put out those videos for the control pack and the exhaust. I'll make them as one video instead of two. And then after that, you're gonna get to see me drive it for the first time. All of this happened in the span of about a week. So I fired the car up for the first time last Saturday, and I drove it for the first time yesterday, which is Friday. So 6 days in between those two, I had most of the stuff done to drive it before I actually fired it up because I was waiting for parts and stuff like that. So those videos are still coming, so don't worry about that. In this video, all you're gonna see me do is a couple of things on a checklist just to make sure that the engine's ready to fire up before we actually fire it up for the first time. Things like adding oil to it, making sure that the engine's seeing pressurized oil before you fire it up for the first time. Adding fuel, all the fuel system things go along with that kind of stuff, and then you'll get to see it fired up. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So what we got going on here is got a couple cooling system modifications to make. With this radiator having a radiator cap, I'm not going to go ahead and use the factory degas bottle that would come with like a 2015 Mustang. This port here goes to the degas bottle as well as this port here. Since I have a radiator, normal radiator with radiator cap, and just normal overflow when I get that installed, we can plug these two off, but I don't want to plug them just because it looks kind of tacky. So an 1/8 inch NPT should fit this one here. So we'll pull this out. I'm gonna put it on the workbench so you can see it easier. And then this one, I'm just gonna cut and then basically just weld the hole shut. So all we're gonna do here is I'm gonna take the upper lower radiator hoses off. I'm gonna take this dealio off with it as well so it comes off as an assembly. And we'll catch back up when I get on the workbench. All right, so we got the water outlet that goes to the thermostat housing, everything here in the bench, or Jesus, in the workbench vise. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this nipple out. Power by the Hour has a really good video on this, so I'm not gonna go too in depth on it, but all I'm gonna do is heat up this boss around it, and this nipple is just a press fit in. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of heat, wiggle it out, plug it, good deal. Just gotta work it just a little bit. There it goes. That's it. So now we'll plug that, call it a day. All right, so I got the water nipple out of the water pump. All I did was cut the nipple off, weld it shut. We're gonna paint it and throw it back on. So what we're doing here, we're just putting these coal packs back on. We took the valve cover off to prime the oiling system. Used my trusty Roundup can over there. The way everybody says to do is to use one of those. It pressurizes the canister of oil, take out the oil pressure sending unit, and then you feed the vanes of the engine with some oil. I tried spinning it over. I lubed everything up before I put the engine together, but I couldn't get get oil pressure to build. So that was the next best way to do it. So now we got plenty of oil in the engine. Next thing we're gonna do is put some fuel in it, find out where the leaks are because there's always leaks, and then we're gonna go ahead and fire it up.
Wow.
As you can see, we got the factory 2015 intake manifold back on. Only reason I did this is because I don't have the tune for the control pack yet, and I know that the control pack is meant to handle a stock 2015 engine. So stock 2015 intake manifold with stock fuel injectors, everything should be copacetic and work. The only thing that's gonna be different is my air intake tube here. It's a 4-inch tube instead of a 3.5. That extra 1/2 inch shouldn't make that much of a difference regardless of what your old lady says. With all that being said, I think everything should, in quotes, should go fine, but it never does, so we'll figure out what goes wrong. So we're gonna go ahead and get her nice and gassed up. With the fuel cell being underneath the car, it kind of makes this a little challenging, so bear with me here. There we go, yes. Nailed it. You look underneath, make sure it's not leaking.
I think we're good.
You're positive?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. When I first started doing this last night, the bulkhead fittings on the fuel cell were loose. So I had about 5 gallons of premium 91, about $5 a gallon. And I ended up with about a gallon of it on the floor. Some of you may be wondering, why don't you just put the fuel cell in the car? And that is actually against most racing bodies regulations. If you put it inside the car, with this being a hatchback, you have to separate it from the driver compartment. So you'd either have to build a firewall in between me and the cell, or you would have to cover the cell, and then it makes it, you have to like build a filler neck and everything. It just doesn't work out very good. So she's got 4 gallons of Quick Star's finest. And let's see what happens.
That doesn't sound right.
Okay, so before we're going to start, what we're going to do is we're going to set fuel pressure. Right now, since it's not tuned or anything, we're going off of what Ford Performance Parts says, and in the instruction manual, it's supposed to be 55 or 58 PSI. So we'll shoot 55. I was told that the control pack doesn't prime the pump, that once you turn the key on, it's on and it doesn't stop, but it's priming the pump. So what I'm doing is just cycling what would be the key. Right now I have it as a toggle switch because I don't have a ignition source that is switch 12 volt as well as cranking 12 volt. So I got hooked up to a switch. I'm just cycling it, trying to get pressure in it. Right now it's like 40 PSI, so we're gonna keep tightening the regulator down and we're gonna see what happens. So you wanna come around? If you can try and see this gauge here. So I'm gonna turn it on. So right there is actually pretty good. So as long as it's close enough to start, I mean, it can be 50 to 60, because that pressure is gonna change once it's consuming fuel and it's running. So now that we got that done, I'm gonna check all the fluids, make sure they're all topped off, and then we're gonna try and fire it up. All right, got everything down on the checklist. You kind of helped.
I guess.
Missed a couple of really good moments. Before I didn't realize one of these fuel fittings wasn't tight, and Hannah was pecking away at her phone, and it just started gushing fuel literally everywhere, covering everything. So I wish we'd caught that, but unfortunately we didn't. I'm running out of hot water just for a quick startup, because if I want to make sure I didn't mess anything up with the cam timing or oil pump gears or anything like that, because all the front accessories have to come back off, and it's a lot easier if there's no water involved. So we're just gonna get a quick fire up, let it get a little bit of heat in it, and then we'll shut it off. All right, ready?
Smoking like that.
So it's smoking on the first fire up, since I was handling everything, obviously. It's just the grease burning off from like the exhaust and everything. So every first fire up's like that.
That scared me. I didn't know that. You should have warned me. I was like, it's on fire.
Everything I hope. So I hope you guys are excited about that as I am. There's a lot of emotions and everything going for the first time when you fire an engine up like that for the first time, especially in a project like this. To this point, it's been over 5 years now since I last drove the car from. So a lot of emotions going around, everything's going through your head before you fire it up. Just everything you've done, making sure that you did everything right, that you didn't forget anything, because forgetting something small can lead to, you know, months worth of work to go ahead and make up for that. So huge weight lifted now that it's running and driving again. So in the next video, you guys will see the exhaust getting done along with the control pack getting wired up, and then you will see it driving. So pretty exciting next couple videos. So I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap that video up here. A lot of exciting stuff coming, a lot of stuff that I'm pretty excited about. I hope you're as excited as I am about it. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers, which is very exciting. I've been doing YouTube videos now for a little over a year and a half, or almost a year and a half, I think is what it is. So getting to that milestone is a huge accomplishment. So I appreciate everybody who's watched these videos, liked, commented, subscribed along the way. And I hope that we keep on going. So I don't plan on slowing down at all, and hopefully you guys stay along for the ride. But that's gonna do it for this video, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Y'all take care now.